Welcome back to the K-pop poker vlog. For this session I play at Bay 101 in San Jose with a $300 buy-in. I don't get any hands to tango with for the first 40 minutes, and the first decent looking hand is 10-9 suited under the gun.
20.
Time. 20.
I raise to 20 and everyone folds. Very next hand I pick up ace-5 off on the big blind.
20.
Low jack raises to 20 and small blind calls. Ace-5 isn't a premium hand, but I have blockers to hands like aces or ace-king, and I don't want to just call and play out of position with a weak ace, so I decide to use my tight image I've built by not playing a hand for 40 minutes and 3-bet to 85.
85.
Low jack doesn't fold right away, and asks how much I have left,
85.
and says screw your image and 4 bets in my face for all of my chips.
320.
I whimper off and look for a better spot. Ten minutes later, straddle is on and I look down at my first premium hand of the session, pocket queens.
40.
40.
I raise to 40 and when it folds to the straddle, he puts in a bet for all of my chips.
Great. Looks like 310.
I snap call.
Call.
Go.
Flop is jack 10-3 with 2 clubs. Straddle has king queen of clubs and has an open ender, a flush draw, and 1 over. Although I have the best hand, he is a favorite to win.
Oh wow, I like your hand.
Turn is the 5 of hearts.
Red.
River is the 10 of spades. I fade all his outs to double up.
That was a lot of outs.
You end up the same thing on the flop.
Yeah, for sure.
End up the same.
Yeah.
Take a video.
Thank you.
Ten minutes later, I pick up queen 8 off on the big blind. Button raises to 15 and I defend my blind to go heads up.
Check.
Flop is queen jack 6 with 2 hearts. I check my top pair with a weak kicker to the initial aggressor. He checks back. Turn is another queen. I want to start building the pot, so I lead for 20 into a pot of 26. Opponent thinks for a bit and calls. River is the last queen in the deck, giving me quads. After a brief moment of internal celebration, I bet 60 into a pot of 66.
60.
60 calls, alright.
I have quads.
Button calls pretty quickly and I take down the pot.
Thank you.
Very next hand I pick up ace-3 off in the small blind. Everyone limps. I complete my blind and big blind checks for a family pot. Flop is ace-ace-10 giving me trips. Leading out seems too strong and I also don't have a kicker, so I check. Cutoff bets 10 into a pot of 28. I'm the only caller and we go heads up. I bowed up with a 3 on the turn, but I had a brain fart and thought it was one of those 3-pair situations where my second card didn't play, so I check again, go into check call mode.
Check.
He continues for 35 into a pot of 48 and I call.
35.
River's the 7 of diamonds and I check again.
Check.
He bets 45 into a pot of 118.
45.
Bless you.
Call.
45.
You're good, man.
He says I'm good but doesn't seem to want to open his hand, so I announce mine.
I have an ace.
That's all.
He then shows jack 6 off for a complete bluff with no draws whatsoever. It seems I got max value by misreading my hand and showing weakness, which induced the bluff.
Oh,
How do you not raise that?
Because I'm a nit.
When I have full house, you have quads.
Small
I have
blind.
nothing, you have a full house.
Nice straddle.
I wasn't getting called, I don't think.
Very next hand I pick up 9-8 off on the button. Straddle is on and hijack limps.
That's the hand I'm trying to run.
Honestly, my brain's so fried I thought the 3 didn't play. For some reason.
They're playing.
I call and small blind bumps it up to 35. Big blind, straddle, and hijack all call. I have pot odds, position, and hopes and dreams, so I call and complete the action. Flop is jack 8-3 rainbow. Small blind continues for 65 into a pot of 168 and straddle calls. I don't think I'm ahead of both of them, so I look for a better spot and let it go. Few players are lobbying and we are playing 5-handed, and I look down at pocket 10s in the cutoff. When it folds to me, I raise to 25.
25.
You can buy the
Button calls, and when small blind folds, big blind re-pops it to 125.
125.
125.
All in.
All in?
I was the one trying to bluff with Jack 6 off. He could be doing this through the wide range, so I just jam.
How much more?
I think I cover you.
He asks what my chip stack is and tries to get a read on me, but after thinking about it for a bit, he eventually folds and I take down a decent pot uncontested. Five minutes later, I pick up ace-10 on the button. Hijack limps and I bump it up to 25.
25.
Small blind folds and big blind repops it to 100. I don't think ace-10 is a hit here, so I look for a better spot and fold. Couple of hands later, I'm hijack and pick up a couple of ladies. 2 players limp and I bump it up to 25.
25.
Cutoff says it'll cost you more and repops it to 85.
85.
Then the big blind named Mike, who I've played with before, who doesn't get too out of line, 4 bets to 225.
225.
Then the first limper jams all in.
All in?
I'm not sure I'm ahead of all 3 players showing such aggression, so I bid farewell to the ladies.
Oh. Anybody else I shove? Alright, you might be in the video.
I keep the camera rolling for Mike, who's always wanted to be on the vlog.
What? What did he just fold?
Ace king.
He just folded ace king?
Cutoff shows ace king and folds face up.
What do you have? Flip it.
Mike also shows ace king. He doesn't connect with the board, but the limp razor mucks and Mike takes down the pot with ace high.
I'm in the video.
Yes you are, Mike. Yes you are. 20 minutes later, I look down at ace-6 suited on the button. Mike raises to 15 from under the gun +1, and cutoff calls. I call and big blind tags along as well, and we go 4-way to the flop.
This could be it, Mike.
Flop is king 6-3 rainbow. Mike continues for 1/3 pot and cutoff calls. Seems cheap enough to call with second pair. Big blind folds and we go 3-way to the turn. Turn jack of diamonds doesn't increase my equity and Mike continues for 60 into 2 opponents. I don't think I'm good here and I let it go.
You got it.
I'm surprised you can't flush
Huh? You want to show for the vlog?
Mike shows ace king of diamonds for top on the flop, which picked up the nut flush draw on the turn to be on the vlog twice in one session. "20 minutes later, I'm big blind and I pick up pocket aces. Under the gun raises to 15 and button and small blind call. That's too cheap, so I raise it up to 75.
75.
75.
Under the gun doesn't like his chips and repops it to 215.
What is it? 215?
Correct.
I want to help him get rid of them, so I 5-bet to 400.
400.
He thinks about it for a while and folds pocket kings face up. My next big blind I have king 10 offsuit. +1 raises to 15 and cutoff and button call. I call and complete the action.
Check.
Flop is king 9 deuce 2 hearts. I have top pair but check to the initial raiser. He checks and cutoff checks, but button makes a pot size bet. I call and we go heads up. Turn is a 6 of clubs.
Check.
I check again and this time he bets 130 into a pot of 166.
So big.
I don't want to call such a big bet with just one pair and mediocre kicker, so I fold to find a better spot. Next orbit I pick up king jack off on the button.
20.
+1 limps and I bump it up to 20. The blinds and the limper all call and we go 4-way to the flop. Flop is jack 10-7 rainbow. Small blind donks for 30 into a pot of 73 and +1 calls. I have top pair with a decent kicker, but there's a straight on the board, so I proceed cautiously with a flat call. Turn king of diamonds gives me top 2 and both players check. I don't think they would be checking a straight with a flush draw on the board, so I bet 105 to deny equity.
105.
They both fold and I take down the pot. Five minutes later, I'm big blind and I pick up ace deuce suited. Cutoff raises to 20 and I'm the only caller and we go heads up.
Check.
I check on a jack 4-5 rainbow flop and opponent down bets to 15. I call with a gutter and a backdoor flush draw.
Check.
Turn king of clubs doesn't help, and when I check again he bets 50 into a pot of 68. It's too expensive for me to chase and I fold. 30 minutes later, I'm big blind and I pick up 8-4 suited. Hijack raises to 20 and I defend to go heads up.
Check.
I check the flop of Queen 7 two-tone. Opponent bets $10. I think the price is reasonable and I call. Turn Jack of Diamonds gives me a flush draw. If I had a queen, I would just call on the flop and raise on the turn, not wanting it to get checked through. So I try to rep a queen by leading on the turn. I bet 25 into a pot of 58. Hijack is undeterred and re-raised to 75. I could be drawing dead, so I fold. "15 minutes later, half the table is gone and we're playing four-handed. I'm big blind and I have ace-king off. Small blind raises to 20 and I re-raise to 65. He calls and we go heads up to the flop. Flop of 9-4 deuce rainbow brings no help, but when he checks we could still have the best hand, and not wanting to play my hand face up, I continue with a $65 bet and he folds right away. I bought him for $300 and cashed out for $873 after playing for 3 hours for a profit of $573. I didn't get any hands in the beginning, and my stack went down to $200 after trying to make a move with ace-5 off, but made a comeback by doubling up by avoiding a ton of outs with the ladies and picking up a good pot with pocket aces when someone else had kings. I wish you all get some good run in your lives, and I'll see you in the next video.